Welcome to Just Got Played. This is Jim Jam, JJ here, and I got Steven and I got Erock with me, and we're going to review transmissions. But first, we're going to do a little how to play, and here we go.
Welcome back to Just Got Played. This is Jim Jam. This is transmissions, and I'm going to teach you how to play. Here we go. First of all, you're going to want to take out the board here, the main board here, and you're going to want to place your robots in starting positions anywhere in any different areas, and they got to be at least 2 spaces away. That's all really that matters. They're all randomly placed. And then what you're going to do is give everybody a player board with 2 starting ideas. They can be placed on 2 different robots, indicated here by the 4 different slots, or they can all be placed on 1 robot. It's up to you. Whatever you get to decide. And then everybody's going to get 1 different color engram, one of the 4 different colors of the engram. There is blue here, even though you can't really see it. Very dark. But there is blue. So you get 1 of each, and you start with 4 electricity. Those are there too, but they are very clear. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. A little bit better there. And then everybody's going to get a deck of 7 transmission cards. You're going to get a starting hand of 3 transmission cards, and this is going to indicate how you move the different robots during your turn. What you're going to do is also get a stack of ideas and items equal. There's going to be varying on the amount of players that are in the game. This is going to be endgame trigger, so you're going to want to look in the rule book to see how many of the different ideas and items need to be played. There's an equal number. And then when they run out, that triggers the last round of the game. Same thing with the pipes. There's going to be different, there's always going to be 4 stacks, but how many pipes are in each stack is going to be determined by how many players. This is also another endgame trigger. And then you just take the whole stack of forest cards and you're going to shuffle them up and deal 1 face up. So when you're choosing forest cards in the forest action, either one of these 2 spaces, you get to choose from the discard pile or the top of the forest deck. Those abilities can be used. You can turn a card in and use it anytime during your turn for whatever the ability is on the card. And then make sure you keep that face down for the end of the game because you do get victory points for that. So, how you play the game. You're going to have a hand of transmission cards, 3 transmission cards. Every time you play a transmission card, you're going to get to move the indicated robot or from the indicated area. I'll go into more detail in just 1 second. Around the board. You can only move robots in clockwise order, clockwise direction as you go through the board, and you have to move it at least 1 space. Also, you do not count spaces that are already occupied by robots. So if I can move the brown guy here 2 spaces, then I don't count the space that the green guy is on. I move past him. Don't count it. Robots cannot occupy the same space as another robot, so that's the reason why. You're going to look here on your little transmission card's hands. You get 3. If it shows a robot on it, you can move the robot from 1 to that many spaces on there. The brown guy moves 4 spaces by default, and you can move them up to 4 spaces. When you land on the space, you do the action indicated there. If you're in the water, you're going to get 1 blue engram or 2 yellow engrams. When you go into the dock area, you can choose one of the indicated items there. You have to pay the electricity and also the engram cost when you take that item. What happens when you take an item and or an idea pretty much work the same way. You're going to kill off the corresponding item or idea that goes in that same space, and then you're going to move them down. This is how the game moves along to trigger the end of the game. And then you're going to put that on your board somewhere on one of your robots. Items don't do anything except for get victory points. Unlike the ideas which get you like a player power in most cases. But they do take up 2 slots on any robot. So just remember that when you're putting your items down, you're going to have less slots for your robots to go. So say I didn't put that starting idea there. That robot would be all filled up, and I can no longer put ideas on there. Yes, that's victory points at the end of the game, and being full up gives me victory points at the end of the game, but I can no longer give ideas to that robot, which will trigger a ongoing power during the game. So just remember that. But docks is where you pay for items. You go in the meadow here, you can get a green engram or 2 yellow ones. If you go into the junkyard, area, this is where you can buy ideas. The first 2 ideas, you're just paying the electricity cost for them in the bottom right corner. The ones farther on here, you have to pay a yellow engram or a white engram in each one of those places, plus the electricity to be able to put that on your board. And like the items, they go into a slot for a robot. But ideas also usually have player abilities. So when you move the robot, then you can trigger the idea that's slotted into that robot's space. But just remember, you cannot move ideas or items. So once they're there for the rest of the game. And then if you go up here to the end of the junkyard, you get 4 electricity. You can go to the forest to get forest cards. And lastly, we have the pipe area where you can buy pipes to add to your starting pipe, which is right here. All you have to do is pay the engram cost at the bottom, and then you could add that to your pipe, or try to anyway. Pipes can be added to your starting pipe if you're able, if it's a legal play. As you can see, there's like a wider section here and a thinner section when you're buying pipes, and they slot in. You can turn them in any direction you want. But if you ever get to like a corner and the pipes don't fit, you lose out on the front victory points here. Not going to focus. Going to focus for me? No. All right. Well, that's 8 victory points. Not going to focus for me, but that's. But they do have victory points on the back. So if you don't manage to connect it, on this one you get half the victory points, but you still get something for paying for your engram. So those are victory points at the end of the game. Most of them, I think, are 8 and then 4 on the back. There are always 4 on the back. Different victory points on the front, depending on how many engrams you have to pay for it. As I said, emptying a stack of pipes triggers it in the game as well. I think it's 1 or 2. And then that's pretty much as far as board actions can go. It's a pretty simple game. You move your robot and you take the action there. That's really it. When you choose forest cards, you get to draw off the top or the face up, as I said, and then you keep it for the rest of the game. Let's see. That's how you play transmissions. So another way to end the game, the third way to end the game, is to fill up all the slots in each of the robots. As you can see, you'll get extra victory points. You can't really see which ones are on there, but 4, 6, 6, and 8. So the more slots you fill up, the more victory points you get at the end of the game. So clearing out the idea stack / item stack, clearing out all one stack of pipes, and then filling up all the spaces on your robots is how you end the game. Pretty much everything face up victory points is what you get. If you manage to get sets on the items, there is a top victory point and a bottom victory point. The bottom victory point indicates how many of that set. So drop the ball. So if you get 2 balls, you'll get 8 victory points. 2 balls get you 8 victory points. 2 trucks get you 7 victory points. I know you all can't really see that, but that's what it says. Let's try this. Hey, let me see that. Yeah, get you 7 victory points. So getting one of an item doesn't get you as many victory points if it's in a set as getting all of the item, but there's like a pencil. Pencil's just straight up 5 victory points. I don't know why pencil's not by itself. I want a pencil, yeah, but that's me. And then that's pretty much how you calculate victory points at the end of the game. There's also the butterfly and bird. A lot of the items have butterflies and or birds on them. So what you're going to do is while you're scoring the other points, you're going to multiply the number of butterflies times the number of birds that you see on your pipes, items, ideas. And then you're going to multiply those together, and that's how many extra victory points you get. Kind of extra, but it's like regular victory points. It's not really bonus, but that's part of the thing. And then also for the used forest cards, I believe it's 3 victory points. You get 3 victory points per forest card that you have. Actually, it's acorns on the victory on the forest cards. Some forest cards just have plain old like victory points on them, and most of them have acorns on them. You're going to total those up, and then the person with the most acorns is going to get big, extra points at the end of the game. Total of 5 extra points. So that's pretty much it. Transmission is a very simple game to play, and we're going to explain our pros and cons in the rest of the review. But that's how to play Transmission.
And we're back. All right. How was that? Was that good? Was it pretty good? You guys
that was
like
a good
that?
explanation.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope our subscribers enjoyed that as well. It's very fancy. Let's see here. I will start with the likes, and then we'll go in order. We're going to do a little snake drafting, as it is that time of the season for the fantasy football. I see Erock is in the mood right now. I have my draft here in a couple weeks, so it's good practice for me. So I will go first with my likes. I am the one that kickstarted. Sorry, I said the buzzword. I'm not supposed to say that word, the K word here. Sorry about that.
Crowd.
Sorry, plug your ears, Steven. I cast it. There you go. I cast it. So it came in a few months ago. We finally got around to playing it as a group here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to record it because it got messed up. But that was my second time playing it, and I did get some joy out of what I kickstarted, because sometimes you don't get to see the components and everything, but as y'all saw, they do look very nice. So that was one of my big things. It looks very pretty. Everybody that I bring out on the table, everybody's just like touching little robots and like, oh, it looks so pretty. So the quality of the game is amazing. The board is huge, and the pieces look great as well. And I like the little Kickstarter bonuses that you have, but we didn't get to play with those yet, but those look fancy as well. So definitely nice quality is number one. And then my number two is just, it's easy to play. It's it's not even like a worker placement rondel type of deal. You kind of move the robots and you can't go backwards unless you have this idea that lets you do that. So it's very, very simple to play. Definitely gets the stamp of approval from JJ for beginner game. Somebody can get in and you get those worker placement rondel all mixing into one real simple game. So those are my two little likes about the game. Steven, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Whatever. I could do my my likes. So my like about the game is there's this engine building aspect to it, right? And so I guess they were called ideas. Is that what you said they are? You take these things and you slot them on the robot, and then when you decide to move that robot, you get those extra abilities. And so I like engine building type stuff. I like trying to make combos that way. And I thought this was, it was a pretty light introduction to that kind of thing. We talked about the quality of the production, so we're only looking at the Kickstarter version. This is one of those games that I've heard people talk about who say they want to find the Kickstarter version and some people who've gotten the retail version, they're just kind of like disappointed, right? Because maybe they thought they were getting some of the Kickstarter stuff. So I will say that it's a really good production, but I really only can say that about the Kickstarter version because I've heard other things about the retail and I haven't seen it myself. So, but yeah, it's a nice quality production. It's a simple game, like you said, and it's a really light engine builder, which, I think is cool.
Yeah, the Kickstarter version, I showed in the unboxing, but here it is again. These are ornaments now because I was going to throw them away, but I'm like, I'm just going to put them here. But this doesn't compare to the robot you get. I'm so mad about this.
Okay.
I'm so glad I
don't mind standees. Those standees look fine. I think
compared to the robots, compared to the little robot pieces.
I mean, not comparing it to that, but just saying, like, if I got a game that had standees like that, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Eric,
I
you want to go?
And most times I would agree with you, but those robots are so nice because most of the times you either get a standee or a gray mini that you're supposedly going to paint yourself, and the standees are nice, but those robots are really nice. I mean, quite frankly, I'm going to have more to say on the next go around. I thought the robots were awesome, and I thought the art was really cool. I am done.
So you're saying, okay, well, since you want to lead us into it, how about you bring us back around and you can start off with the dislikes.
So this is a very simple resource management game behind an incredibly frustrating way to get those resources. I'm not a fan of this game. I'm sure there are people that are going to like it. I appreciate that. It was not for me. I spent about 80% of the game either not having the card to move the robot I wanted to, or which is more frustrating, the robots were in the wrong place. All of them. And I couldn't do anything that I wanted to do for pretty much the entire game. It was incredibly frustrating for me. For me, I guess you could probably say it's something similar to these people keep taking my spaces in a worker placement game. Yeah, but I can deal with that. I get that. It was a choice that somebody made that put that, like intentionally went to a space, maybe even to keep me from getting there. But in this game, it's more like the robots just kind of, you moved them. Now they're out. I can't do anything with them. So not a huge fan of this game. To be fair, I would play it again. There are a handful of games that I love that hated the first few times I played them. So it is entirely possible. I just didn't get into it. I didn't really get the groove of it. It didn't really make sense to me in some way. So I would give it another shot. But on one play, not a huge fan. And I'm just saying, just for instance, Cosmic Encounter. Hated it till about the fourth or fifth play. Now I think it's fantastic. So you never know. Off the top, I did not like it. I would not pull it off the shelf to play, but I would play it if somebody else put it on the table.
It's interesting. Just to get it out of the way, I would play this game if somebody asked me to play it, but I don't think I would ever suggest as the game to play. So that's sort of where I fall on this game. I think it's a fine game, but I don't feel like the need to own it because I'm never going to suggest that that's what we should play. But it's interesting because you talk about your frustration with not being able to move the robots and do what you wanted to do. I had this other sort of weird experience, and it had to do with what I did in the game. So I got that idea like right off the bat that let me move a robot either direction. So I had put that on the blue robot, and then I leveled up the blue robot so that it had this combo that basically I got a point every time I moved the robot, and I could move it either direction, which meant I could basically move the blue robot every turn. So that's what I did, right? And I won the game that way. Every turn I'm going to move the blue robot and do something with the blue robot, and I'm going to at least get 1 point. But otherwise, I'm probably going to get some resources or something, and I'll need that eventually. I'll just use that for, So the game didn't, at least the way I feel like I made some smart choices in how I set the blue robot up. And then because I did that, I didn't really have a lot of smart choices on my turn. Interesting choices, right? It was like, I got a card that lets me move the blue robot. I'm doing that, because that's a point. So
I agree with you 100%, actually. And you described it as an engine builder. And I can see where you get that because that's what you did with it. And I didn't do that at all. To me, it was like a roll and move, and the dice kept screwing me over. Like, that's how that game felt to me. But I saw what you did. And, maybe I'd like to try again and put something like that together because my robots didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? You're right. You move the blue robot every time. It's like, I get a point. I'll do this. I'll turn this into this, into this, into a point. I'm just sitting there going, I guess I'll move the yellow guy up, I guess. Yeah,
I didn't know, right? Because there's 4 robots and there's all these slots. Should you distribute across or should you focus on one robot? And then because I had that, move either direction thing, I thought, well, I'm just going to focus on this robot. That seems like an engine building thing to do. And that, that totally worked for me. And if that wasn't just a fluke of that play, if that's the winning strategy and that's what you need to do to win, that's also sort of disappointing. I like games that have lots of different viable strategies for you to explore. So I'm not saying that's a dominant strategy, but it definitely was in the game we played. I killed you guys with that strategy.
Somebody's very humble.
And I don't think there's anything you could have done about it, right?
Yeah,
get a better idea. That's it.
Yeah, once you had it rolling, I couldn't stop you from doing it.
Yeah, you don't know what cards I have, so you don't know when I can and cannot move the blue robot, right? So, whatever.
Yeah, move it away from any of the ideas or anything. We can look at your engrams and see what you might be buying. That's about the only thing we can do, or get a better idea. So, all right. So I'll come back around to me. I'll finish it up. Okay. So Erock, I 100% agree with you. I did not buy it for, gamers like us. As we like to play puzzle games like Gloomhaven.
Like Gloomhaven.
Exactly. Yeah, like Gloomhaven. So what my full intention of buying this game is I have very many people that are new to board games and I have people that don't like heavy games. They're simpler gamers. Let's just put it that way. So they enjoy games with not too many mechanics. They, do a couple things and then do that. And they actually need help with their moves, even though it's transmissions. But if I'm going to play a simple game, I at least need it to look pretty. So that's why I actually like a game like Splendor, because it just looks pretty, and a game like Century Spice Road Golem Edition, because it looks pretty. So when I saw this, I'm like, okay, this sounds simple and it looks pretty. So then you had the little robots that are almost like chibi style. So I'm like, all right, if nothing else, I'm going to enjoy looking at this game, even though it might not be like as complicated as I prefer, but it's very much, I got it because it's a simple game for newbie people.
I can see that. I can't disagree with that at all, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a nice, simple, light game. To be fair, I'm extremely critical of light games because I don't play a lot of light games. So I'm only keeping a couple of them around, and they got to be fantastic.
I'm the opposite. I have a lot of light games. I have the same thing as you, people who haven't played a lot of games. I have my kids and etc. It's just I happen to already have a copy of Gizmos. And Gizmos to me is a light engine builder with the toy factor with the marbles, and so I can't. I think I would just pull out Gizmos instead of transmissions, given the choice.
Yeah, that's a good point. Except for my group would probably think Gizmos is a little bit heavier.
It is a little bit. If you play with a real game, you're going to start really chaining some of that stuff out, and you're going to be
my kids started playing it when they were 7, so I don't really consider it heavy.
It's the type of person, and I don't know how to explain it like PC wise. So I'm just going to say that certain people just like. There's people who like Monopoly. Let's just say that because it's very.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Because they don't have to think very much. So that's basically how it is. And it's just Gizmos has, and I have friends that can handle about 3 resources, and that's about it. That's all the resources they can handle. So if there's more than like 4 colors in something, they get a little confused. But I do like it for that. And then Erock said, and Steven said, as you're moving around the robots, you kind of just like, okay, my robot's out of place, so I can't really do anything. So we were kind of just moving the robot so Steven could get points. So that part was a little bit annoying. Yes, that part was very annoying. And we actually modified the game because after the first time I played, the game stuck around too long. It says, I don't know, half an hour for 4 people. I'm like, okay, so I'll add 30 minutes to that. But then we got to the hour mark in our first game, and I set it up just like the rule said. And an hour on top of that, we were still playing. So for our game with the 3 of us, I took out a set of ideas, a set of, presents. I forgot items. And then also took a top off of each of the pipe stacks, which you're not supposed to do because those are the first 2 end conditions. And the third one is just, you can fill all the slots on your robots, on every one of your robots. That's another way. I didn't even know how long that would actually take. But with the 3 of us and doing that, modifying the setup rules a little bit, I feel like that's about as long as you want the game to last.
I mean, it was still
so I could just
45 minutes to an hour when we played or something, wasn't it?
Agreed. And it was shorter than it would theoretically have been, right?
Yeah, because you're supposed to add technically 2 more to that with 4 more people. So I took 1. Yeah. So it sticks around way too long. I thought it'd be a really simple, quick game. And it's just like, wow, this is going on way too long. That game we played with 4 people, everybody was like, all right, when's this going to end now? We had enough points and it's like, all right, this is good. So got to modify the rules a little bit. So that's my only real big thing. It just sticks around too long for a simple game.
Which is exactly the opposite of what you want. What you want is, like everybody knows, a great game finishes right before you're ready for it to finish. That's a great game. You don't want it to be after. You're like, wow, that was a great round. All right, one more round.
Yeah, we were way done. We didn't add the Kickstarter exclusives for our game, and I didn't do it for our first game. So hopefully we can get to play around with 4 people, play the full game one more time, and then add the Kickstarter stuff and see if that helps a little bit. Other than that, I don't know. It's just I'm gonna have to modify it because it stays around too long. So, but that's my real big gripe. Do you guys have any other?
Your stamp of approval
for simple game? Yes, for simple game. I'll if I'm playing with new people, I'm going to take it out and not even tell them. Honestly, I'm going to take a stack out. That's just because it just sticks around. They're going to get bored. But yeah, so yeah. Anybody got anything else?
No, I think that about summed it
Nah,
up.
that's it. I'll play it. Somebody wants to play it with me. Somebody wants me to play it. I'll play it.
I said
So
basically the same. Yeah, I'm not itching to play it, but if you throw it on the table, I'm in. And I could use another experience with it anyway. Sometimes it just falls flat one time.
We'll see. Yeah. Full game. Hopefully we'll get it recorded on the channel and you guys get to see it this time. But that's it for our transmission reviews and how to play. Kind of lukewarm ending. We were all over the place at our reviews here.
Whatever. You come tell us what you guys think about transmissions. Tell us in the YouTube comments. Come to our Discord server. The comments are in the
Did you love it?
Feel free.
Why?
I'll post pictures if we play it again, and then you can feel free to just light us up or whatever in the Discord. But make sure you guys, comment on the video and tell us what robot games you like. There's only so many. That's another reason why I bought it too, because it's a robot game.
Come on.
Yeah, robot game.
Yeah.
They go, So, like, subscribe, share, do all that, and join us in the Discord. We'll catch you next time. This is Just Got Played. I'm Jim Jam. That's Steven. And that's Erock. Bye.